Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about death, which that sounds very gloomy to talk about. I guess it is a little gloomy. It's death. But I just wanted to talk about some things because I have had this conversation lately. I don't know why, I just talk about it sometimes. But I was just talking to my daughter about like people and them making plans, because a lot of times people don't make plans. And when I say plans, I don't just mean like, do you want to be cremated or a casket? I mean like your house, if your house has to be sold. So I have been telling my daughter like different things that I wanted, which she's like, I'm never going to remember this. You should probably write it down. She's hoping it's, far in the future. But I still am like, you just don't know. So it's good to talk about. And I talked about things like cremation or a casket, what I want to wear. I just came to the conclusion that I can wear pajamas. I can wear pajamas in my casket. I kind of like that idea. Like some cute pink silk pajamas. That would be cute. I can wear what I want to wear. I already have my song picked out. My daughter says it's a slave song. I want Aretha Franklin, Bridge Over Troubled Water. That might be a slave song. I don't know. But I really love that song. I want that played at my funeral. Who gets your stuff is something that, people don't always think about. And I'm not just talking about like money. I'm talking about like, my mom talks about her hats. She says, what are you going to do with my hats? I'm not going to do anything with her hats because I'm not a hat person. But if there was someone specific that she wanted me to give her hats to, I would. Other than that, I'm like, we could sell them. I'm not into stuff. So there's nothing I'm really going to do with her stuff, I might take something that smells like her, because she has a certain scent. Stuff like that, maybe. Doing a living will is also an important thing. If you want a DNR, which is do not resuscitate, how long you want to be, say that you're in a coma, or, how long do you want to stay hooked up to the tubes? That's a serious discussion. People go through that a lot, I'm sure, in hospitals, where it's like, sometimes it's if your insurance runs out, they're trying to push you to unhook the person. But in some cases, time can go on and you're like, how long are you going to keep them hooked up? There's people who've woken up down the line. So I'm like, that would be hard to say, hey, if I've been on it for 2 months, unplug me. And then the third month I could have woken up. I don't know. If you have younger kids, you might want to think about who's going to take care of your children. That is a big thing. Now my daughter's 18, but I definitely was worried about that when she was younger, which I know I had a couple of good friends who would have taken her, but that's a big deal, because if other people have kids, other people have things going on, you just don't want to assume that someone's going to take care of your child if you pass. You'd like to think people in your family would, but that's not always the case. So to have that in place is also a good thing. So there's a TED Talk with a lady who's a death doula. A death doula is someone who is helping you go through the process of dying, and it's non-medical care. So they're not doing anything medical, but they're helping you get through it, basically mentally. Her name is, I'm going to say it wrong, but it's like Alura Arthur. It's A-L-U-A. I'll put the name. But she has a TED Talk on YouTube. You should go check it out. She's really good. And she talks about how she helped, I think, her brother-in-law transition. And I just think that is such a important thing. You don't think about it, but a lot of times when people are dying, you're alone in that situation. Like, your family and friends are surrounded by you, but they don't necessarily understand what you're going through. And that person is studied how to help you get through this process, whether it's hospice or even if you're just at home. Well, you can be in hospice at home, but you know, even if it's a slow, gradual process, that person is there to help you through. One thing that she was saying that I thought was funny is she was saying, you guys, if someone is dying, let them eat the cake. And I noticed that so many people are like, oh, they can't have this, they can't have that. If I'm 80 something years old and I'm on my deathbed, please let me have the pecan pie. Let me have the jar of pickles. Whatever it is, let me have it. Because it really doesn't make a difference at that point. One of the things also that a death doula does, I believe, is that they're trying to figure out, did you do everything you wanted to do? Did you live? Or were you just surviving? Because even though you could be in the process of dying, you're not dead yet. So what's something that maybe you want to do? Maybe you want to go to the beach. Maybe you want, maybe there's just somewhere you've never eaten or gone to or seen. You know, maybe you want to go on a hot air balloon. There's plenty of things that, you know, a lot of times people will think on their deathbed like, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And so the death doula, I think that's part of her job, is to help you with that process and to help you to be able to fulfill some things so that you're not laying on your deathbed with regrets. So I had to finish this video at a new location because I was at work when I was recording. But what I also wanted to talk about was fear. I think oftentimes we don't know what happens after we die. We don't know. No one actually knows. Everyone has different beliefs in what happens, but a lot of times it's fear. And so I think part of the doula is to help with some of that fear, to help kind of calm you, which I don't have a fear of it currently. Doesn't mean I won't later. I think my only fear is leaving my child. You know, I hope that she's fine when I'm gone, but I don't really have a fear. I think most people don't want it to be like some brutal death. You don't really want to be in pain. So I think if there is pain or if it's a little bit more tragic. So, I mean, there is a fear that you're dealing with when you're dealing with dying. And we all have a little bit of that fear in us. And so I think that the doula helps with that. You'll have to do your own investigating on what exactly they do and if that would something that would interest you. But I do think it's important. Sorry if you hear the kids outside screaming. I do think it's important, though, that you figure out a way to have some type of peace with it. And I feel like that's what the doula is there for, to help give you some peace, to help smooth the transition. So that's all I really had to say about that, and the fact of like just trying to have a plan of, you know, everything. Everyone has to die. That's one thing we're all going to do. There's birth and there's death. And so dealing with death can be very stressful. And then if it's you personally that's going through it, that's a hard thing, I'm sure. So find the ways to make things a little lighter for yourself. Have a plan, just like you have a plan for everything in between. You know, there's birth, there's the dash, and there's death. Just like you have a plan for everything in between, plan for death. That's all I got for this video. You can comment below what you think and how you think about doulas, or if that sounds like a good idea to have. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.